name is Ariel Ramirez, and I am a joint PA MPH student at Toro in the class of 2024. Like you, I'm currently enrolled in the MPH Health Equity and Criminal Justice concentration. And this semester, I am doing my public health field study with the organization Exonerated Nation. And I'm here to briefly talk to you about an exciting volunteer opportunity for you all. So, to start off, I wanted to provide some definitions of some important terms to be familiar with. So, wrongful conviction is defined as a person convicted for a crime they didn't commit and when procedural errors have violated a convicted person's rights. Some major factors that contribute to wrongful convictions are official misconduct, mistaken witness identification, perjury or false accusations, and false confessions. In the Socially Just podcast, Obie Anthony, the founder of Exonerated Nation, describes that wrongful conviction can carry a connotation that someone like police or prosecutors have made a mistake, but oftentimes these actions are deliberate. Next, exoneration is defined as when a person who has been convicted of a crime is officially cleared after new evidence of innocence becomes available, and the court has found the person to be factually innocent. The distinction between the language of wrongfully convicted and exonerated is important because it can affect the services that a person has access to. For example, if the court deems a person wrongfully convicted, they may not have access to services for exonerees, like access to housing or education support. So a little bit about the organization I'm working with right now. Exonerated Nation is a nonprofit founded in 2015 by Obie Anthony, an exoneree who spent 17 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. The mission of the organization is to meet the needs of exonerees to improve their physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health that are affected by being wrongfully incarcerated and to advocate for policy changes. So the work that Exonerated Nation does is so important because until recently, there was no infrastructure for exonerees when they returned home. But through the efforts of Exonerated Nation, exonerees are now able to access IDs, transitional services, gate money, housing support for 4 years, and tuition is waived in California at public colleges and universities. Additionally, Exonerated Nation helped pass Assembly Bill 1909 in 2016 that made it a felony in California for a prosecutor to intentionally withhold or modify evidence. In my field study, I've been able to relate what my classmates and I learned in Professor Kelly's course about the California Exoneree Health and Wellbeing Study. The study was conducted by public health faculty at Toro, who interviewed California exonerees through a joint collaboration between Toro and Exonerated Nation. We learned that peer support and advocacy work were mentioned by almost all participants as being helpful in their healing process. In addition, as part of my public health field study, I was able to participate in Advocacy Day a few weeks ago, where 11 exonerees met at the state capitol to share their experiences with state legislators to advocate for policies to provide services to exonerees. A couple of them are recipients of housing and education bills, and they shared what an impact those policies have had on their lives. And another one of our main objectives that day was to make these bills retroactive so people who were exonerated before the passage of those bills can have access to that support. There's also a bill in the works that would make for a separate dedicated budget for mental health services for an exoneree if they receive compensation from the Victim Compensation Board. So it was a really incredible experience to be a part of that day, just to hear people's stories and to see the lawmaking process in person. But how can you all get involved with Exonerated Nation? We are having our first hiking event next month, Saturday, April 29th at Muir Woods. It's going to be a hike for exonerees, their families, and allies. And our goals for the event are to provide an opportunity for exonerees to come together for a fun event and to promote the connection between outdoor activity and caring for your mental and physical health. We're also partnering with the African American Tobacco Control Leadership Council to provide education about the dangers of tobacco and the predatory practices of tobacco companies. So we're looking for volunteers to make sure that nobody is left behind. We're expecting about 30 attendees, and we want to make sure that volunteers are spread out throughout the group so that if people want to take breaks or to take the hike slower, or if somebody decides to turn around, that people have somebody to go with. We're expecting the hike to be between 3 to 5 miles, and we are meeting at 8:30 in the morning near Mountain Home Inn. The address is on the slides in Mill Valley. So if you're interested in attending or volunteering, please reach out to me at my email address on the slide as well. So thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. And I hope to see you all at the Hike for Justice event on April 29th.